everybody, and welcome to Kick Conflict to the Curb, the place that professionals come who are growth minded and want to feel more confident, feel great with their mindset, and have those tough conversations with bullies, micromanagers, customers who are driving them crazy, but they know they have to do it in the right way. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, Queen of Conflict Resolution. And I work with human resource professionals who send their direct reports to me for either individual or small group coaching so they improve their relationships at work, reduce stress, work on their professional skills to maybe get that promotion that they need. Well, I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today, who I've known for a long time, and I actually do call him my friend. We've been in the same mastermind group. We've grown our careers, and I want you to stay tuned because he's going to share his secrets on how he helps his clients make their employees feel happy. So here is the introduction. Tom Borg is founder and president of Tom Borg Consulting LLC. Since 1996, he has worked with CEOs, presidents, and their leadership teams in over 1,300 companies and organizations. Through his consulting, mentoring, coaching, workshops, and assessments, he works with his clients at the intersection of leadership, communication, and culture. Tom helps them stop the disconnect and get back on track. Here's a fun fact about Tom. He's a resident amateur puppeteer. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Well, Joyce, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, you have no idea. Now, listen, viewers, you've got to give me this little bit. Before we get into how to make employees happy, what in the world is a resident amateur puppeteer? None of my guests have put that as their fun fact.
Well, it's just a hobby I picked up over the years. I have maybe 10 or 12 puppets. I've just created some character voices for each of them, and I have fun. I don't really do it out there in the public, but I do a lot of it around the house here, entertain my wife and my relatives. So yeah, it's just something fun to do.
Oh, I love that. Well, maybe when you come back, because I know you will, um, you can bring some of your little guests with you.
Sounds good. They'd love to come.
So the reason why I wanted to talk about and have you give us your strategies on how to make employees happy, because so many of my HR clients, they want to keep their employees so they don't leave. And we know what's going on in the workforce today. So what is one of your secrets when it comes to creating the kind of company or organization that attracts and keeps employees happy and productive?
Well, Joyce, I like to go to a mindset that I've been using with my clients for years. It comes from a study from Delta Airlines they did some years ago about how they wanted to know what their customers wanted, what their passengers really wanted. So they did an exhaustive study and they came up with 4 questions that the people had for the people that serviced them through Delta Airlines. Now, you're going to hear these and you say, well, that sounds like human psychology. It certainly is. And it goes both ways, not just for the customers, but also for our employees. Now, our employees are a form of customers. They should be number one in terms of our customers that we try to serve, because if we don't service our employees well, they're not going to do such a hot job servicing our clients, right? So, in any event,
Absolutely.
4 questions that people have for us that work for us. Here's the first question. Do you like me? Now, that sounds kind of silly. Of course, you must like them somehow, otherwise they wouldn't be there. Well, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
How do we show people that we like them? Good eye contact. Smile when they come in the room. Sincerely appear glad that they're in your presence. This is just a subtle way of proving to people on a regular basis that, you know what, I do like you. They're not going to ask these questions, but they want to know
Right.
the answers. Second question they have for us.
Wait, before you get to the second, because this is
Yes.
so basic,
Hmm.
and some of the viewers may say, of course. Well, let me tell you, at the beginning of my career, Tom,
Hmm.
one of the basic things that people in the audience said is, all I want is a good morning from my boss.
See?
And I'm not exaggerating. All I want is a good morning. So that is almost like a form of, hey, are you happy I'm here? Okay,
Hmm.
go to number two.
Absolutely. Well, I just one last thing to add to that, and using person's name and the name they prefer to be called by. Maybe it's a nickname, maybe it's a first name, maybe it's not a last name, right? I worked for a company years back in one of my earlier careers where the guy was always calling me by my last name. I said to him one day, I really appreciate if you call me by my first name. So he did, to his credit. But then again, don't assume these things.
Yes,
So
I love it.
second question they have for us: do you care about me? Now, how do we show people that we care about them? Well, simple. Take some time with them. Ask questions. When they come into your presence, move away from your keyboard. Stop trying to multitask. Look at the person and ask questions that allow that person to feel comfortable about who they are. What about their home life? How's family doing? How are their outside hobbies coming along? Just take a real genuine interest in them. Show them that you really care. You don't have to come up with a loan program for your employees. Doesn't hurt. Sometimes your employees need a little extra financial help.
Mhm.
Company can help them out in that way. But the idea is to show and demonstrate sincerely that you care about the people that work for you.
And it's not just like you said, the financial situation. It's like care. How is your child who was in the
Mm.
hospital?
Hmm.
Just real basic questions that will make them feel included. Love this. And number
Hmm.
three,
Number three is, so the first one was, do you like me? Do you care about me? Uh, do you do you really know what you're doing? That's the third one. Do you, as a professional, do you know what you're doing? Do you practice
hmm,
your ability to be a professional? Do you attend conferences? Do you belong to an association? Do you read the latest publications that are in your field? This is a demonstration of, do you really know what you're doing? So that's the third question. Now, let me ask you this question. How often do we ask our employees to go take a training program of some kind, right?
mm-hmm.
Owner or the CEO doesn't bother. He or she is too good to do this sort of thing. I mean, come on. If you really want to improve your company, you got to start with yourself, right? So that's critical, I think, in any situation, to model the behavior you want your employees or your team to follow.
And to add to this, and these three are great. I can't wait to hear number four. Is that many times I'm hearing
Hmm.
clients say that I really want to continuously grow.
Hmm.
And that these trainings that you're talking about, how about finding out, leaders, what which classes, which training, which online face-to-face programs do your employees want? And wouldn't it be cool, Tom, if the leader said, hey, I'm going to take this new course on this technology, would you like to join me? You
Hmm.
go out to lunch. I mean, I'm just taking your idea and just throwing out some ideas that I'm
Yes.
thinking right
Yes.
now, but these are great.
Joyce, and you're right on track with that. So, how often do you take your employees out to lunch, one at a time, or have a cup of coffee with them, sit down with them, and just let them know that you really are interested in them? Just that's, or share some of these great ideas you picked up at the last conference, or a book
Hmm.
you're reading. And boy, there's another question for our listeners, right? If you're a leader, I'm curious, what's the last leadership book you read?
Yes.
How do you stay a leader if you don't keep in
Oh,
practice?
this is
Just
great.
right.
This is great. And I'm just going to tease the audience a little bit.
Oh,
I am going to quote this book called True Small Business Brilliance. Oh, look who the author is. So, ta-da. So there's, you've noticed this little. So I'm going to make sure that we have some time. And drum rolls, number four.
so maybe the most important. Can I trust you?
Oh,
Now, how do we show people, or how do we demonstrate to the people at work for us that we can be trusted? Well,
yes.
simple, right off the bat. Do what you say you're going to do. You know, how about this? Answer your emails. Answer your emails in a timely fashion. I have known some CEOs, some executives, they just don't prefer to answer their emails. They'll see who's sent the email and maybe they'll
Mhm.
get back with them, maybe they won't. Or phone calls. Has that ever happened where you've tried to call somebody and they don't return your call? So you don't know if you're connecting with them or not.
Yes.
They don't pick up your phone, they don't answer your emails, uh, they don't return your texts. So the question is, can I be trusted? So if you do what you say you're going to do, sometimes that comes down to discussions. When we have a discussion with our, our leader and talking about some great ideas you've come up with and how you'd like to see them implemented in the organization. And if by some way or manner that great idea gets out there, but someone else takes the credit for it, what kind of trust has that lost, right?
Mhm.
Well, you might share that in confidence with your leader, and he or she shared it with someone else who went ahead and ran with it, and they get credit for it. Or worse yet, the leader takes
Mm.
credit for your ideas. That happens too often in the workplace today. So what we're talking about is trust. Do
Yes.
you actively work on earning and maintaining that trust from the people that work for you and with you?
And earning and maintaining. And we have to get that elephant out of the room, leaders, is that if you don't think that there's trust, and this is where a lot of the HR professionals who I speak with, the glue that holds a company, and I know you
Mm-hmm.
know that, they say, how can we build trust on this team? Well, we got to take that elephant out of the room. Was there ever trust?
Mm.
If so, how come there's not anymore? If there wasn't, we got to really dig deep to find that out. It doesn't just, oh, gee, I'm the leader, so you got to trust me and you got to
Mm-hmm.
respect me. No. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter how long the employee was there. I love these four, and
Mm-hmm.
trust is so important.
Well, Joyce, to go right along with what you said about that
Okay.
elephant in the room, that is, if we don't start eliminating those elephants, how can you really build trust in that organization if there's something
Yes.
there that's not discussed here? I remember working with an organization where when an employee would leave, there would be no mention of it. Like, what happened to so and so? He's not here anymore. They wouldn't bring. It was like once you're gone, you're
Wow.
forgotten. Can you imagine the kind of trust that built within that
No,
organization?
no. Am I
Mm,
next? And
yeah,
here
yeah.
we come to one of your questions. Do you really care about me?
Hmm.
So, oh, these are great. And when I produce this video, this live broadcast, you better believe I'm going to have those four questions out there in the world, Tom.
Absolutely.
So, did you have anything else before I have another idea that I want to talk to you
No,
about?
that's pretty much it.
Okay, I don't
Mhm.
don't want to. I better listen. I better care about my guest. So, how important is it for our leaders and employees to have a clear career ladder within
Mm.
the company or organization? The career ladder. I love the way you put it. So,
Well, going right back to that question, do you care about me and do you know what you're doing, right? Well, you get into an organization, a person gets hired in. Uh, Certainly they better have a good orientation program to start with, but that orientation program should include the fact that, hey, here is your opportunity within this organization. Here's the career path you can take. Here's a career ladder that you can take within this organization. You're
mhm,
starting out here, but with the right training, the right on the job experience, the right mentoring, you can go to this next level. Okay, great. Well, what happens when I reach that level? Well, you have this kind of responsibility, you get this kind of a pay raise, you get these kind of perks, but the idea is to give them a path that they can take through your organization. Now, some companies might say, well, listen, we're not that big of an organization. There aren't that many places a person can go within it. Well, that's fine. Show them where they can go. And when they get to that
yes,
top rung of that ladder within your organization, great. They're prepared to move on to go somewhere else. And
mhm,
there's nothing wrong with that. Giving that person an opportunity to develop themselves as a person and then as a professional, let them be with your company as long as they can. But at the same time, when they're ready to move on, wish them the best, give them a letter of recommendation, but recognize that as you prepare that person for bigger and better things, you're opening the door up for other people who want to come into your organization, have the same opportunity to learn and grow, develop, and to make an impact on the people they're working with in terms of your clients and customers, and then be able to move on. So you don't have to be the end all to people, but the fact is, can we provide them with a way that they can improve while they're with your organization, and as a result, become better people and better professionals?
Oh, Tom, just so golden. And that again, that goes with all your 4 questions. Do you care about me? That means, oh, there's a career ladder that we can talk about. Well,
Hmm.
how can I get promoted? Well, you can't talk about promotion until you know that you're growing within your career. And I see we have a comment from somebody that we both know, Tom Borg, Diane Bogino, who's been my guest, and she's going to be coming back in January. She says, having a career plan program creates better employees, buy in, and employee engagement. So we're all on the same page.
Hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane. Please add your comments because you are one brilliant friend and colleague. So, Tom, we're talking about how to make employees happy, but I'm going to bring up employee appraisals.
Mm.
How important are they? Because we need them. What is your take about, are they important, and how can we use them to make employees feel happy?
Well, great question, and certainly every CEO or leader that's listening to this program should be aware of that answer they need to be giving to their employees when that comes up. First off, I love to quote Bob Kelleher. Bob is a guy, he's written a lot of books on uh, just managing people, and one of the books he has out is this Employee Engagement for Dummies, which is an
Oh,
excellent book, by the way.
great.
But one of the things he
Great.
says is we got to get rid of this word appraisal, performance appraisal. It's it's old school. What does that do? And we know this as professionals. When you have a client that answers the question that you've just asked, and that is, when was the last time you did a performance appraisal on your team members? And they say, well, we really haven't done them lately. Or they say, well, we usually do them at the end of the year, but we hate doing them. Well, why? Well, because the person the employee has to justify that they did a good job, and the person that's reviewing them has to justify whether or not they should be able to give them a raise or not, right? So
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense. A better way to look at it, what I've termed, is a professional success plan. Put together a professional success plan where at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, looking ahead to the next year, you look at all the areas this person needs to grow in, right?
Mhm.
The areas they've identified, you've identified, you come up with a strategy. Say, well, let's see, you need to do this, this, you want to do this is going to help you reach the level that you want. Remember, back to the career ladder.
Mhm.
So now what we want to do is schedule time throughout the year to check in with you to see how things are going. Doesn't have to be a sit down meeting for an hour. It could be 5 minutes over there by the coffee machine. Say, hey, how's that class you're taking? How's that going along with that certification, or the process that you're working on within your department that you need to finish for this year so that we can meet our goals and objectives that we set out here at the end of last year? So you have these regular communications with that person to see how they're doing and making sure they're staying on track with doing what they're expected to do throughout the year. Now, if you can do that, there are no surprises at the end of the year, because quite frankly, if you're saying down to do an employee quote appraisal at the end of the year, it's too late to change anything. It's all
Mhm.
been done. What they didn't do isn't going to
Mhm.
get done now. So it's like, I gotcha. Is that the kind of management person you want to be, or leader? I gotcha. You didn't do it. No, what we want to do is set up in the beginning, set them up for success, monitor their progress on a regular basis. And then as a result, it's like a good coach, right? If you're playing
Mhm.
professional sport, they're not going to wait to the end of the season to tell you how you did. My goodness.
Right. Oh,
You're
absolutely.
going to,
Wow. And so what you just did is you opened up the Pandora's box, but a good Pandora's box, that
Mhm.
this is a great time while the leader is talking to the employee at the water cooler, ask these questions, to say something positive. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. We need that, not the shallow idea or something that's not authentic. But listen, Tom, I'm really happy that you went to that class and I'm seeing progress. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to go so far, so far. So
Mm-hmm.
these are just great ideas. Now, no, you want, I hear
Well, okay.
something coming.
Well, I was going to tell you is that you're right on track with that because let's remember this. This is a phrase I came up with, but probably 20 other people have already did it before I came up with it. Praise pays. Praise pays. So in other words,
Mhm.
you want to see people grow, praise what you want. It works for training dogs. It works with our
Mhm.
spouses or
Yes,
significant others. Praise what you want and do that consistently, and you get more of it. So
absolutely.
those little chats at the water cooler.
Praise.
Hey, how's it going on that project? Or how's it going on your success plan? Great. I see you're doing it. That's what keeps people on a track of moving towards the ultimate goal is that constant care and attention and and focus.
Absolutely. And you gotta get a T-shirt since it's yours, praise pays with
Yeah.
your logo under it. It's great. And Diane added Diane Bogino
Uh-huh.
added professional success plan. Love it. I'm stealing that, Tom.
Okay, go ahead. You can do
So,
it.
so yeah, so the three of us, by the way, I think we're gonna be on a show together. I just
I'd
know it's
like
gonna
that. I
be
like that.
wouldn't that be awesome?
Diane's another consummate professional like yourself, Joyce. I
Absolutely.
enjoy working
Thank
with
you.
both of
All
you.
three of us. Ditto, ditto, ditto. So we're almost finished, but
Oh
I
gosh.
want to quote a
Hmm.
Tom Borg in
I
your
like
book. And this is what you said. And I reread part of this last night. If the people in your organization don't see ongoing evidence that supports team members asking for and giving ideas for workplace improvement, they won't believe you really want their ideas. In my experiences, this is quoting you, Tom, working with clients, I have found the most successful work environments that foster regular interaction and collaboration are the ones where there is ongoing communication within and between. Could you say a couple sentences about that, please?
Okay, well, ongoing communication, again, that is probably the area in this country there are billions and billions of dollars lost every year because we don't do it properly. There's ongoing communication where people
Mhm.
understand each other, where they're at, where each other is coming from. So what we're saying there is by having a strategy, don't make it an accident that you have ongoing communication or any kind of communication. Have a strategy. Set it up where there's opportunities that are built right into your schedule for the week that you're going to be communicating with the individuals in your organization. They have the opportunity to communicate with you. Back to this
Mhm.
business, answer those emails, text, uh, phone calls, whatever it is that works best for the two of you to communicate back and forth. Make sure that people know that, right?
Yes.
There's a great point. Oftentimes people say, well, how should I get a hold of you? Well, try phoning me. Well, what if that doesn't work? What's the best next
Mhm.
best way? We should have these we should have these spelled out, the clear way of making sure we have that constant communication rolling back and forth.
Oh, and that it's
Yeah.
almost a guarantee. Employees are here we go with those four questions again. They're gonna care. You care about me. We're having this conversation.
Hmm.
And even if it's a tough conversation, that's what I'm all about.
That's right.
Any kind of conversation to keep it going.
That's right.
So, Tom, our time, I mean, I can't believe it just flew by.
Sure did.
So, what I want to know is I am going to ask you, I'm going to put your website there.
Thank you.
Tell people how they can reach you, a little bit about this is your time to really express what you could do with them, for them. Please, this is your time.
Okay. Well, if you're in an organization, you're a leader or a president, CEO, and you want to see your people develop their skill sets, develop your ability as a company to service your clients, then give me a call. Uh, Go to my website. My phone number's there. Reach me on my email. The point is, if you're the type of person that wants to develop your most valuable resource, that's your people,
Mhm.
and you've been kind of running into some blocks in doing that, give me a shout. That's what I'm about, is being able to just help you solve some of those people problems. And just, again, working at the intersection of leadership, communication, and culture.
Love it.
That's what I do best.
That's great. Give me a call. That's what I'm about. And by the way, what is your phone number?
Oh, sure. The number is 734
Mhm.
404 5909.
Well, Tom Borg, you've got to come back. I enjoy your spontaneity. For those guests who were expecting Jennifer Dickey from AMR, she's under the weather and she is going to come back. Who was the first person I thought about? I said, Tom, he and I work so well together. It's like you're not here, Tom. Sorry. Here, talk right to you. Smile. Care about him. Tom, you're not just a colleague. You're a friend. You're a
Thank you.
mastermind of mine. And I appreciate that you came on last minute. You talked so well about your strategies and how to keep employees happy. And I appreciate you as a consultant and also most importantly as my friend because you are look at who I went to immediately and you said sure. You said sure, I'll come on. So I'm so glad because otherwise I would have had 30 minutes. I would have had a gift to gab, no problem talking. I'd much rather do what we did. So will you come back?
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait.
Great. Well, I thank you so much, and you will be back.
Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. So I hope that you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, because how to make employees happy. Man, we're going to have that topic a few times because this is what my clients are asking me to cover more and more. And we went deep with Tom. We're going to bring him back. And when Jennifer feels better, which should be very soon, we're going to have Jennifer Dickey come back also. So thank you so much for watching Kick Conflict to the Curb. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, and I have two calls to action. Number one, if you would like to be a guest on my show, please send me an email, Joyce at joyceweiss.com. And if you would like an assessment about your conflict, how you deal with conflict, your strengths, your weaknesses, this is a good way to start kicking conflict to the curb. Because what happens is people, I would send you the assessment, and then we would have an evaluation together on Zoom. And that's a great way for you to see how it would be working with me and if you would want to continue. So, again, I want to thank all of you so much for joining. And I got one more thing to say. Remember, you get what you tolerate.